Hello, and welcome to our second Pearson Airport Explorers Camp of 2021. Today, we have a very special edition called Welcome to Canada, and in it, we're going to learn about Canada's history as home for many people all over the world. So, for those of us of you who are new to our Airport Explorers Club and camps, welcome. You can become an official Explorers Club member by joining up on our website. We'll put our website up in a minute. As an official member, we'll provide you with more fun activities and insider information, so be sure to sign up. This is our second camp, a second of 5 camps, and all our camp dates are posted on our website. So make sure you register for the other upcoming 4 camps so we can keep a spot open for you. So before we move along to our presentation, Welcome to Canada, let's say hi to a few of my friends who will be helping me today. So I'll be your host today. My name's Catherine. I'm on the top left of your screen there. And I think I've got the best job, although my friends are probably going to argue about this, at the airport as the manager of community outreach. And that means I get to go out and meet people and my neighbors and talk about all the great things that we do at Toronto Pearson. So, Ruba, you want to talk about yourself and introduce yourself?
For sure. Thanks, Catherine. And of course, as every camp, we will, argue about who has the best job. And sure, you can think whatever you want, but I am the one with the best job. And what I do is that I manage what we call the community investment program at Toronto Pearson, which means that I get to work with incredible community organizations that work tirelessly to support the community surrounding the airport, especially when it comes to efforts to find people good and meaningful jobs. So it's a fantastic thing to be at Toronto Pearson. But now I will introduce you all to my friend Yace.
Good afternoon, explorers. I'm Yace. I'm a senior officer in noise management at Toronto Pearson, and we really work together with our wonderful partners all across the airport to make sure that the flights that operate in and out of Toronto Pearson are as quiet as possible for neighborhoods around us. Kathy, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thanks, Hayes. Hi, Airport Explorers. Hi, everyone. My name is Kathy, and I'm the person on the bottom right. And I get to work on with a great team, like you heard from everybody here. And I specifically get to work on this amazing project called the Pearson Airport Explorers Club. So I hope you guys really have fun and enjoy it. But we want you guys to all learn about all the great things that happen at Pearson.
And explorers, I want to share something with you. It is by far Ruba, Kathy, Hayes, and mine best part of the week doing the Airport Explorers Club, right, everyone?
Sure is.
Hands down.
For sure. So I'm going to leave this slide up here because on it you'll see our email address and our website. And I'll put it up later at the end of the program so you can write it down if you're not able to do so now. But the reason I'm asking you to write down this information is at the end of this camp, if you're new to the camps, we have a very special activity that we're going to ask you to complete and then send to us. So, Kathy, can you tell our airport explorers why it's a good idea for them to send in their work?
I sure can, Catherine. So, airport explorers, everyone should send us their work because by sending us your work to this email here, trafficcontrol@airportexplorer.club, before March 5th, your name will be put into a draw to win some really cool prizes, such as an Airport Explorer hat, a t-shirt, and a 100-piece jigsaw puzzle. And if you join us for all of our camps this winter and spring, and you send in the finished activity that's assigned at the end of each camp, your name will be put into a draw for a chance to win a Chromebook. Yes, Airport Explorers, a Chromebook, and so far we've given away a few Chromebooks. And the draw for the Chromebook will be on Friday, July 9th, and we'll email the lucky winner of the Chromebook shortly just after that. We will also be contacting all the winners of hats, t-shirts, and jigsaw puzzles, so make sure to remember to send us your work.
Yeah, and we've sent out quite a few t-shirts. And Michael, if you're listening today, Michael's one of our extra special Explorer Club members. He's been to every one of our camps. So Michael, we heard from your dad that you can't get that purple Sharpie ink out of your Airport Explorers tee. So don't worry, we're sending you another one this week. So look for it in the mail. So Kathy, do you mind if I tell our explorers what we did last week?
No, go ahead. I think that's a great idea, Catherine.
Thanks. Okay, so last week, or not last week, geez, time goes by quickly, last month, our airport explorers were challenged to make a tin can telephone and use it to communicate with their family members, just like air traffic controllers do when they talk to pilots, although they don't do them on tin can telephones, but they do, communicate at a distance. So you always say that communication is so important at the airport. And, we have to communicate to make sure that everybody is safe and following instructions. And to our new airport explorers, if you missed last week's camp, you still can check out this activity on our website. We've recorded the camp and, do the exercise, send it to us, and you might get in for a chance to win that Chromebook. And what about you, Hayes? Did you have fun building that tin can telephone? And what was the message that you communicated with your friend using it?
I had a lot of fun with that, Catherine. I think I'm pretty handy and I really enjoy building things. So I had a lot of fun with that activity. And I even used the aviation alphabet to communicate my message. So I spelled out my name, that was Golf, India, Juliet, Sierra, using the tin can phone. And hey, Catherine, do you remember the airport code for Toronto Pearson?
I do. It's YY, and because I'm Canadian, Z. So, Case, now it's your turn to use the aviation alphabet and spell out fun, because our airport explorers are so much fun.
Let's see, fun. That's going to be Foxtrot, Uniform, November.
You know what, Case? You know that alphabet so well. I can never stump you. And Airport Explorers, if you want to see what other cool work that other explorers have sent in to our website, you can just look in the section called Explorers at Work. So maybe you'll see your work there too. And Kathy, I know you have a cool activity for us today, don't you?
Always a cool activity, Catherine.
I know I can count on you. And Ruba, can you tell our Airport Explorers what else they can find on our Explorer website?
Oh, I sure can. Well, there are lots of cool things on our website, airportexplorer.club. We have mazes, we have games that you can play. There are instructions there to help you build your own plane or even a kite. And we have some interviews in our airtime section with a pilot, an astronaut, and a few of the people who work at Toronto Pearson. So be sure to check them all out. Our previous camps were all recorded, just like we are doing today. So be sure to also take a look at them online. And don't forget to tell your friends and family that they can watch our camps as well.
Okay, that's a lot of information. And I think we've given our explorers lots of time to write this stuff down. So before I hand this over to Ruba, I'm going to let you know quickly how this camp will roll out today. So first of all, Ruba and I will show you a presentation about Canada's history as a home for people from all over the world. It's called Welcome to Canada. So pay attention because we'll give you some extra inside information and some clues that will help you later when we play trivia. So I hope Michelle is paying attention because I don't think she's been doing so well on the trivia games. And next, we'll be watching an amazing video that tells us some really cool facts about Canada. And then we'll play the trivia. And then we're going to answer some of the questions that were sent into our to us from our airport explorers. So explorers, I'm sorry, we won't be able to answer any of the great questions you send to us in the chat box. However, we promise to answer them in the upcoming March camp, along with any of the questions you have. So make sure that you send those questions in with your work. And then we'll end our time together with Kathy, who will walk you through an activity that gets our explorers using their imaginations. So, but before we get started on the show, we have something special. We want to wish a very, very happy birthday to a good friend of ours. So, friends, can any of you guess who just had a very special birthday? I can give you a hint. She's a very, very important person in our community. Kathy, I know you just had a special birthday, and we're not talking about you, although you are a special friend too. But Kathy, do you know who I'm talking about?
Yes, it was Hazel McCallion, as in this photo, as you can see. And do you know how old she is?
Yeah, she is 100 years old, Kathy. That's so amazing. And Ruba, can you tell our explorers when Hazel McCallion was born?
I think I can. Well, a little bit of math that tells me she was born in 1921, and actually she was born on February 14th. So she's a Valentine's Day baby. And a little piece of trivia, this is I think she was born 17 years before the airport opened in 1938. Remember, you guys, we were talking about the history of the airport last month?
Yeah, I sure do. Hazel McCallion certainly would have seen some pretty cool things over the course of your life. Yes, what other cool things can we share about Hazel McCallion with our airport explorers?
Well, Catherine, just to name a few, Hazel McCallion is a Canadian politician and, of course, a businesswoman who served as the 5th mayor of Mississauga right here in Ontario. And she was first elected in 1978. So that's way before any of our wonderful airport explorers were even born.
Also, did you guys know that she's the longest serving mayor in Mississauga's history? She actually won 12 consecutive elections and was mayor for 36 years.
Oh, and did you know that Hazel was a teenager? She played for a professional women's hockey team in the late 1920s.
I didn't, so she's a true Canadian, eh?
She sure is. Apparently, she was very good and played with her 2 sisters. She played the position center.
That's also cool. Well, some more interesting things about Hazel. She is a member of the Order of Canada, which is a very special Canadian honor. She's also a member of Toronto Pearson's board of directors. And we've been very grateful to have her as a part of our citizenship ceremonies at the airport, where we welcome new Canadians who have made their home here in Canada. And we're going to talk more about new Canadians when we get to our presentation shortly.
So again, from all of us at the Greater Toronto Airports Authority and the Pearson Airport Explorers Club, thank you. Happy birthday, Hazel McCallion, and thank you for your continued commitment to the city of Mississauga, its people, and our community. So Ruba, speaking about new Canadians, are you ready to tell us more about the airport's importance as Canada's front door?
Of course, I'm ready to go, Catherine. Airport Explorers, let's go. Today's presentation is called Welcome to Canada. So let's take a look at the presentation and find out how many people arrive in Canada through Toronto Pearson Airport. Well, every year, people move from lots of different countries to start new lives in Canada. And 2/3 of those people arrive in Canada through Toronto Pearson Airport. And so let's learn more about Canada's history as a home for people from all over the world.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this, Ruba.
It's going to be a great presentation, Catherine.
Thank you.
So what is immigration? People have immigrated to Canada for over 200 years. Immigration is when people move to another country and plan to live there forever. The people who move are called immigrants. Now, people also move to another country for a few months or a few years to work or study, and others move to escape war or other dangers. In Canada, we sometimes call these people newcomers because they are new to Canada. Whether newcomers stay just for a few months or forever, everyone brings something special to add to Canadian culture.
They sure do. All immigrants or newcomers bring so much richness to our culture.
I couldn't agree more. People also come to Canada when there is war or danger in the countries where they were born. These newcomers are referred to as refugees or newcomers because they leave their countries to seek refuge or safety. In 2015 and 2016, Canada welcomed many refugees or newcomers from Syria, a country where there is a civil war. Now, many refugees landed at Toronto Pearson Airport. At the time, Pearson welcomed over 13,000 Syrian refugees at a special welcome center. The airport wanted to make the newcomers feel happy and safe to be in Canada, and we provided food, coats, mittens to help keep our new friends warm in the winter.
Because I'm sure they would not have been familiar with our cold winters.
100%. The weather in Syria is actually very different than the weather in Canada.
Yep. So
and
that's
actually, Canadian winter is very different than pretty much every winter.
yeah.
So it is important to know that before others came to Canada, the land was shared and cared for by many Indigenous communities. Toronto Pearson Airport is on the ancestral traditional territories of the Ojibwe, the Anishinaabe, and the Mississaugas of the Credit. To understand Canada's history, we must understand the history of Indigenous peoples and the relationship between people from other places and Indigenous peoples.
This is great.
Now, did you know that 1 out of 5 people who live in Canada was born in another country? Many more Canadians have parents who were born in another country. And so many more have grandparents, great-grandparents, or great-great-grandparents who were born in another country. Catherine, what about you? Were you born here?
I'm Canadian, but my dad was born in another country. He was born in Cyprus, and my great-grandparents were born in other countries as well. What about Case and Kathy?
I don't know. Kathy?
Wow. Oh, I actually came to Canada in 1978. So I was not born here. I was born in Poland.
And I think I'm the greenest one of the bunch. I actually moved to Canada in 2015, so not that long ago, and I hope to be a Canadian soon.
Great. And Ruba, you came to Canada just recently as well.
Yes, I actually came to Canada in 2013 and became Canadian in 2019, actually. Oh. It was a fantastic moment.
Congratulations.
Loved it.
Yes.
Thank you. So no matter where we all come from, we now call Canada our home. But how did people from other countries get here? And how do they get here today?
Oh, I'm looking forward to learning more about this. But this might be something that our airport explorers might want to think about themselves, like where their parents came from, where their grandparents came from, and talk about, with their families, how all these great things that they brought to Canada with them.
Yes. So before airplanes, immigrants entered Canada by ship. It was often a long and difficult journey, and a lot of those ships arrived in Canada, mostly from Europe, at Pier 21 in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Halifax was many people's first destination in Canada. So between 1928 and 1971, nearly 1 million immigrants entered Canada through Pier 21. So if your family came to Canada during that time, they might have arrived there. And many of the people who arrived at Pier 21 were searching for better, safer, and freer lives. Catherine, did you know that Pier 21 is now an amazing museum all about the thousands of people who arrived there?
No, I didn't. And you know what? Next time I'm in Halifax, I'm just going to have to visit that. And Kathy, when you came to Canada, did you come this way?
No, I actually came through Montreal, but my father-in-law came through Pier 21 and his name is there in the museum.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, another way that people arrived in Canada was through the Underground Railroad. This wasn't a real railroad with a train as we know it. People had stops or stations for place of safety and conductors who helped guide them as they made their way north to Canada on foot to escape slavery. About 30,000 to 40,000 slaves escaped to Canada between 1850 to 1860 alone. Many of these newcomers migrated to various parts of current-day Ontario. So, Catherine, a tip for our explorers here is that the Underground Railroad was a network of secret routes and safe houses.
So we really are a country that's made up of welcoming people who need to be protected and safe, and I'm very proud of this history.
I love Canada.
So when people arrive in Canada, they face some challenges, especially with using a new language. The newcomers may not have spoken either French or English, Canada's two official languages.
I just remember when I travel, it's always it's kind of, you know, difficult, but it's fun learning a new language, but it's also difficult sometimes making yourself you know, understood. That would be a real challenge.
So, parlez-vous français, Catherine?
Un peu, un peu.
So, people still come to Canada in search for a better life, and more than 300,000 newcomers arrive in Canada each year. That's a huge number. About 2/3 of those, like we said at the very beginning, about 2/3 of these newcomers are welcome to Canada at Toronto Pearson Airport. It's often the first place people see when they come to Canada. It's like a new Pier 21. Yes. When you came here, you said 2015, right?
Yes, Ruba.
Did you arrive through Toronto Pearson?
I indeed did. So I was one of the lucky few. It's not that few, but very lucky indeed to arrive through Toronto Pearson, and I instantaneously just fell in love with it.
Was it, so it immediately felt like home? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just very welcoming and very bright. And it definitely, the atmosphere at the airport is so welcoming and so diverse that even if you arrive with a different language, there's always so many wonderful people there to make sure that you're looked after and you're helped in any way possible.
So Hayes, I have a question. I have
Yeah.
a question, another question for Hayes though. When you came in, did you think, oh, I want to work here?
Yeah, it's such a great place, Catherine, and such an interesting place that it's definitely one of the first places I thought of when I was looking for a job in Canada.
Well, I can tell you, we are happy that you came to Canada, and we're happy that you're on our team.
Yay.
Echo that. But I mean, speaking of his experience, it's perfect for this next slide, because when newcomers arrive at Pearson, they might meet staff members from the Greater Toronto Airports Authority. I remember we had spoken in one of our previous camps that we all work for the Greater Toronto Airports Authority. All of the GTAA staff members combined, we speak 42 different languages. So airport staff will sometimes help the newcomers find transportation. They can also tell them about community groups that might make them feel right at home in Canada immediately.
Yeah, that's great. That's really helpful. And I mean, you can see an example of our welcome team. I think we talked about people who work at Pearson last year, and the welcome team is we got about, well, not right now because of we're keeping the people down limited at the airport, but we have about 300 people who volunteer to help people around the airport.
Yes, you see them with those nice blue jackets.
Mm-hmm.
That have welcome team. All right. So people come from all over the world to live in Canada. Here are the top 10 countries that immigrants came from in 2019. Can you list them, Catherine, for us?
Oh, we have India and China, the Philippines, Nigeria, the United States, Pakistan, Syria, Eritrea, Korea, the Republic of, and Iran.
Okay, so as you can all see, very diverse communities and nationalities are coming to Canada. So Pearson also, and other than the people who come to live here and immigrate to live here, we welcome lots of international students every year. So did you know that about 400,000 students to come to Canada every year so they can study at Canadian universities and colleges. Pearson Airport is the first stop for lots of them. And lots of these students stay in Canada after they finish studying and use their new skills here.
That's good. And I like the welcome station. That looks like a very welcoming station for international students.
Yeah, there are some books there too.
Yep.
But this is where, you know, I love this. People who come to Canada from other countries bring with them wonderful things, from art to food to dance to language, for all of us in Canada to enjoy.
Yeah, no, that's terrific. That's exciting.
That's exciting. Yes. I feel very lucky that we get to experience all these cultures.
Me as well. And look at the food. I'm getting hungry.
Shawarma later. Now, some of the famous newcomers who immigrated to Canada include, well, Donovan Bailey, who's an Olympic gold medalist, Michel Jean, who's a former Governor General of Canada, Ins Choi, who's an actor and playwright. He's the creator of Kim's Convenience, if you've seen that on Netflix. It's very funny. Steve Nash, an NBA All-Star, and Kim Choi, she's an award-winning writer. Catherine, did you know that Alexander Graham Bell, who helped design the first Canadian airplane, was also an immigrant? He was actually born in Scotland.
Well, I think Canada is actually a land of immigrants, considering the Indigenous people were first, right? And we just came and settled here.
Agreed. But you know what? Also, Alexander Graham Bell sounds familiar.
I think he invented the telephone too, didn't he?
Yep, I would say he did. Yeah. That makes sense. Well, anyway, most people who immigrate to Canada don't become famous, and that's okay, you know. They contribute to making our towns and cities stronger with the skills they bring with them. For example, in Canada, and these are also 4 incredibly great examples. So 1 out of 4 people who work in healthcare is considered a newcomer.
Wow.
1 out of 5 sports coaches is a newcomer.
Wow.
Yep. See, so now it's healthcare and sports. More than 3 out of 10 people working in scientific research are newcomers. And more than 1 in 4 artists, writers, and performers are newcomers.
Those are pretty amazing statistics there, Ruba.
And pretty amazing skill sets that we're bringing in that are here. Now, throughout Canada's history, many people have come here to start new lives. And when they do, they bring their amazing skills and cultures, which contribute to the richness and diversity of our country. We're happy that Toronto Pearson is where many newcomers arrive in Canada, and we're always, always excited to welcome them.
We are. Thank you very much for that, Ruba. That was really, really interesting and lots of information to remember. And I'm I'm very interested in seeing our explorers trace their history coming to Canada and what they and their families have brought with them as they settled here. It's great. So explorers, we're recording at this camp, so we'll have it up on the website tomorrow if you want to watch it again. And before we go on to playing some trivia here, we have a little video we want to talk to you about. It's just going to show you some really cool things about, cool facts about Canada. I don't know that our explorers know. So explorers, you ready to learn a little bit more about our great country? Here we go.
Canada is the second largest country in the world, after Russia. Over half of the people living in Canada have a college degree, making it one of the world's most educated countries. Canada has the longest coastline in the world, with 125,567 miles of coast. During cold winters, temperatures can drop to negative 20 degrees Celsius, meaning parts of the Atlantic Ocean on the Canadian coast can freeze enough that people can play hockey on it. Canada has an estimated 2 million lakes, which is more than any other country in the world. Pretty cool, huh? Canada.
Okay, technical difficulty there, but I think we've got over that. So that was I had no idea. I mean, Kathy, Ruba, Hayes, did you know that we had 2 million lakes in Canada? Anybody?
I had no idea, Catherine.
Oh
I
my
wasn't
gosh,
even close if you had asked me that in a trivia.
that's a lot of lakes. So, okay, so we're going to play some trivia now. Hayes and Kathy, are you guys ready?
Hey, Catherine, before we head on to the trivia,
Yeah.
I do have to say that one of our favorite airport explorers pointed out that I had a little bit of a slip of the tongue in our last camp, a little bit of a pronunciation technical difficulty, as it were. So we talked about the different terminal buildings that we had here at Toronto Pearson throughout its history. And I do have to fully admit that it's not Aeroquay, but it's pronounced Aeroquay.
I bet you a real airplane enthusiast brought that up to our attention, didn't he?
Oh,
How do you say that again, Hayes? Can you say that again?
It is Aeroquay one. It's not Aeroquay one. Just to put that on the record there.
Woo! Good. That's great.
It's always great to learn new things, you guys. We
Yeah,
really appreciate those tips from the explorers.
Thanks for the clarification, Hayes. That makes total sense.
So, Kathy, are you going to tell everybody how we're playing trivia right now?
Oh, yes, of course, Catherine. Okay, Airport Explorers, let's see what you remembered from the presentation that Ruba and Catherine gave you. Let's do you remember the clues that we're giving, and let's see if you can remember the answers. We are going to ask you 10 questions as always, so please answer these questions in your head and challenge your brothers or sisters or friends or parents who are with you to see who can get the most questions correct. This trivia is just for fun. So you don't need to email us or send us the answers in the group chat or anything. And pay attention, and we're almost ready to go. Okay, Airport Explorers, I'm sure you're ready. And Hayes, are you ready?
I am very much ready, Kathy. Let's do this.
Let's go ahead. Okay, let's see question number 1. True or false? Many people come to Canada to start a new life.
Well, Kathy, from my own personal experience, I will have to go with true.
I think from my family's personal experience, I think you're correct as well. I think that would be the same for me. True. Oh my goodness, okay. 1 out of 1 so far. Every year, people move from lots of different countries to start new lives in Canada. And 2/3 of those, like Ruba mentioned, arrive in Canada through Toronto Pearson Airport. We welcome everybody from around the world at Pearson. Let's see question number 2. What is immigration? Okay, let's see our options. When people visit a country on vacation. Is immigration when people move to another country to begin new life? Is it a flu shot or is it a field trip? Airport Explorers, what do you think the answer is? Hayes, let's see if you know the answer to this one. This is a little bit tough, but I think you might.
Yeah, it's a little tougher, Kathy, but we're talking about people coming to Canada in today's camp. So 2 seems to be the logical choice for me, when people move to another country to begin a new life.
Okay, let's see. You are correct, Airport Explorers. If you chose number 2, that is correct. When people move to another country is what immigration is about. And remember, immigration is when people move to another country to plan to live there forever. The people who move are called immigrants or newcomers or new Canadians is what they're referred to now. So newcomers or new Canadians. Let's see question number 3. What do you call people who come to Canada for safety? I remember that one from the presentation. Let's hear options. Are they tourists? Are they visitors? Are they international students? Or are they refugees? What do you think, Hayes?
Well, I remember Ruba talking about the Syrian refugees that Canada embraced and really welcomed into the country a while back. And I think they're coming to Canada to find refuge, so to find a safe place. So I think refugees would be the right answer.
That's a great way to remember that. Refugees look for refuge. That is correct. Airport Explorers, if you chose number 4, you are correct. So in 2015 and 2016, Canada welcomed many refugees from Syria. It's a country where there is civil war, and Pearson Airport welcomed over 13,000 Syrian refugees. Interesting facts to remember. Question number 4. Can you list the top 10 countries where immigrants come from? Okay, before we put on the answers or the options, Hies, can you list them offhand?
How about, Kathy? I do 3 and you do 3.
Okay.
Does that seem more manageable? Because 10 seems like a lot to me. So I remember Nigeria being one of them, India, and definitely the United States.
Okay. I remember Pakistan, Nigeria. Did you say Nigeria?
Yeah, I said Nigeria.
Okay. Nigeria. India? Did you say India?
No, and I think China was on there too, right?
Oh my God, I can't remember them all. Okay, let's see what the answers are. Airport Explorers. India, yeah. China, okay. Philippines, okay. I think you mentioned that one. Nigeria, yes. Number 5. The United States, of course, our neighbor, yes. Number 6. Pakistan, okay. Syria, of course, Syria. My goodness, forgot that one. Eritrea, how do you pronounce that? Eritrea?
It might be Eritrea or Eritrea.
Catherine, I know you're good at that. Korea Republic. Iran. Wow, okay. How do you pronounce number 8, Catherine? Correct me again. I have a hard time pronouncing.
Eritrea.
And where is that?
That's in Africa.
Southeast Africa, I think.
Wow, I had no idea. Great. And about 2/3 of newcomers are welcomed to Canada at Toronto Pearson Airport. It's often the first place newcomers see when they come to Canada, such as Hies. He came through the airport at Toronto Pearson. Great. Wow, those are lots to remember. Okay, question number 5. Who lived in Canada before others began arriving? Okay, let's see our options. Was it the Europeans? Was it the Americans? Was it 3, the Indigenous communities? Or was it 4, your parents and grandparents?
Well, I'm really certain about this one, Kathy. It was definitely the Indigenous communities that have a very long history here in Canada, even before any of the Europeans or new settlers arrived.
I think you're correct, and I agree with you on this one. Okay, let's see the answer. Airport Explorers, if you chose number 3, Indigenous communities, that is correct. Toronto Pearson Airport sits on the ancestral lands and territories of the Ojibwe, the Anishinaabe, and the Mississaugas of the Credit. So it's really important to always acknowledge the ancestral lands that Indigenous communities sit on. Okay, great. Wow, Hies, you got 5 out of 5 so far. Oh, you're so brilliant. Okay, let's go to question number 6. Okay, we might stump you on this one. Okay, before airplanes, what form of transportation did they take to come to Canada? Okay, was it by car? Was it by airplane, ship, or bike?
I know that we use the word pier for sections of our terminal too sometimes. So, but if it's before airplanes, that means that 2 is already not an option, right, Kathy?
That's correct. Okay.
So I think most logically then, I think I heard Ruba talk about Halifax, and that's by the ocean. So I'm going to go with ship.
Okay, let's see. Airport Explorers, what did you pick? If you picked what Hies did, and you're doing as good as Hies, that is correct. You've got 6 out of 6. Wow, you're smart. A lot of those ships arrived in Canada at Pier 21 in Halifax, Nova Scotia. And there's a photo right there that you can see of the ship, and that's the pier from the other side.
And Kathy,
it's now a museum, right, Hies?
That's what I was going to ask. So we can go visit it now and learn about all that great history too.
Sure, as soon as COVID and restrictions lift, we can definitely visit Pier 21. It's a fantastic museum. I was there probably a couple of years ago. Yeah, it's great. Question number 7. How do new Canadians arrive to Canada today? Okay, so we know that some came through Underground Railroad, some arrived through Pier 21, but how about today? So the options are Pier 21, Toronto Pearson Airport, the United States, or do new Canadians arrive to Canada through downtown Toronto? Wow, okay, this is a tough one. Oh, I see somebody's might have picked number 3, but I don't know. Yes, what do you think it is?
The only thing that makes sense here, Kathy, for me would be through Toronto Pearson Airport. And we see a beautiful picture there of Terminal 1, the international arrivals there on the right-hand side.
Yes. Yeah, and you can see international arrivals. That is correct. If you pick number 2, Toronto Pearson Airport, that is how the majority of newcomers and new Canadians arrive to Canada today. And as we said, and I think we've repeated this a few times, is 2/3 of newcomers are welcome to Canada for the first time at Toronto Pearson Airport. It's like the new Pier 21. Let's see question number 8. What are some of the contributions that new Canadians bring with them to Canada? Wow, okay, let's see. Is it culture? Is it art? Is it skills, special skills, or is it all of the above? Yes, if you get this correct, it'll be 8 out of 8.
So much pressure, Kathy.
I know. You're so I don't know. I'm starting to feel that you're like perfect at everything. Okay.
Well, I do tend to pay a lot of attention when Ruba explains something to me.
Yes.
When I think of Canada and what makes Canada so wonderful is really the bountifulness of different cultures that we have in Canada. So I really think it's just all of the above that the wonderful new Canadians bring with them to Canada.
Okay, Airport Explorers, I think Hayes so far is going to get 8 out of 8. I hope you guys all picked number 4 because that is the answer, all of the above. What makes Canada so rich, like he says, is its very diverse culture. Canada is a country full of many wonderful languages, cultures, and religions. Okay, let's see question number 9. What are Canada's 2 official languages? Okay, let's see what our options are. Is it English and Spanish, English and Ukrainian, English and French, English and Mandarin? Yes, what do you think it is?
I think that definitely all of these are spoken somewhere in Canada, Kathy. But I think
we're talking about 2 official languages.
Yeah, I think I remember Ruba saying that the official ones for Canada were English and French.
I think you're correct. I would pick English and Ukrainian because I speak Ukrainian, but I think the official languages are definitely English and French. Airport Explorers, what did you guys pick? English and French. Okay, yes, so far you're doing great. The top 5 languages actually spoken in Canada are English, French, Mandarin, Cantonese, and Punjabi. Wow. Okay, so we are a very rich and diverse country with many, many languages, and I love it. I love to see all the different languages. How about you, Hies?
Well, I have to say, Kathy, that my favorite thing is not the languages, but all the different kinds of food.
Yes, of course, food. Food is, yes, delicious food. Okay, final question, Airport Explorers. Question number 10. How many different languages do staff members at Pearson speak? Okay, it's a total of, is it 20? Is it 32, 42, or 100? Ooh, that's a tough one. We are, okay. Hayes, what do you think it is?
100 seems like a lot. So I'm gonna go with 42 as my final answer there, Kathy.
I'm gonna go with 42. Okay, Airport Explorers, if you pick number 3 and you said 42, that is correct. Airport staff will sometimes help newcomers find transportation. They can also tell them about community groups that might make them feel at home in Canada, because when you're landing at the airport, you might not know where you have to go, what you do, and so they're there to help you out. Wow, you got 10 out of 10, as Ruba would say, ding, 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 ding. You're our winner today.
Little pat on my own shoulder there, Kathy.
No,
But
I
you know
don't.
what? I have to admire Case because the way he reasons things out, it's amazing. That's how he gets like 10 out of 10 all the time.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Okay, well, hold on, guys. Don't go too far. Because I think Ruba and Case, they some of our explorers sent in some interesting questions. So let's see if the explorers can stump you guys. So Case, can you and Ruba work on some of the questions that came into us?
We'd love to, Catherine. How
Of
about you, Ruba?
course. Of course. From 100% up for it. Yes, how about I ask and you answer?
Sure, that works for me.
Okay. All right. Are you ready?
Always.
All right. So the first question that we got from our wonderful explorers is, has the Concorde ever landed at Toronto Pearson?
That's a great question to start off there, Ruba. So in the 1970s, there was a supersonic jet that was called the Concorde that could carry passengers across the Atlantic Ocean in less than half the time that it takes now. So supersonic, so that's faster than the speed of sound. And it even visited Pearson in 1979 and for a few years after that. But the airlines stopped using it because it used a lot of fuel and it was really, really loud. So definitely not that interesting for someone in my job. And the last time it flew over Pearson was actually in 2003. So yes, it has landed at Pearson.
Kathy, it's Catherine here. I think Kathy has something that she wants to tell you about Concorde that our
Yes.
explorers might correct us on here.
Okay, so yes, somebody corrected me, and I just want all of our airport explorers know that it's not the Concorde. When you're referring to the Concorde, it's always called the Concorde. So for example, the question is, has Concorde ever landed at Pearson? We don't say the Concorde. That's for aviation gurus who know that. So the correct term is Concorde, not the Concorde. Just putting it out there, Ace.
Just in case.
Always good to know.
Would Concorde go to the Aeroquay?
It would only go to the Aero Key, I think.
Okay. Just making sure.
Okay, what's the next question?
So it's not about the Concorde for sure, but it says, Case, has Pearson Airport ever been in any movie or show?
It absolutely has. So Pearson Airport is actually a hub of activity regarding that. We always welcome news media to film in public areas of Terminal 1 and Terminal 3. And public areas are those that don't require a boarding pass or a security pass to enter. And I've actually heard that we've been in blockbuster movies, but we're usually not identified as YYZ or Toronto Pearson or even Malton. Ruba, did you know that The Amazing Race Canada was for a part filmed here at Toronto Pearson?
Oh, no way. I love that show.
Yeah, it's a really good show, and it's always nice to see Toronto Pearson there.
Always, yep. Well, thank you, Hayes. The third question we received from our explorers is, so one of our explorers wanted to know what the fastest plane is. What's the fastest plane out there, Hayes?
That's an interesting question, Ruba. So all passenger and cargo planes travel at a fairly similar speed because of the network of air roads that are causing some speed limits. The difference would be really minimal except for, of course, Concorde and a fighter jet. And currently the #1 fastest aircraft built in the North is the North American X-15, of which you see a picture on the top right there. And this aircraft has the current world record for fastest manned aircraft, so it has a person inside. And its maximum speed was Mach 6.7. That's about 7,200 kilometers an hour. And that was recorded on the 3rd of October in 1967.
Is it faster than that little blue plane underneath it?
I think that little blue plane has to go for a new speed record there, Catherine.
Okay.
The next question takes us a little bit back in time. So how many passengers did the first airplane carry?
So the first airplane could only carry a few passengers. That's because the main focus back then was on carrying mail and not actually passengers. But the first popular passenger airplane was the Douglas DC-3, and then actually carried about 23 passengers at a time.
Oh, that's really not a lot of passengers, but very glad that we have bigger airplanes now. Now for our last question, yes, how often does the Antonov AN225 come to Pearson, and what does it carry in that big belly?
Well, Ruba, I wish it would visit more often because I really love seeing that really, really big Antonov land at Pearson. But so far, it's only visited twice, and there's only one operational Antonov AN225 in the whole world, and it does go to any airport where the cargo is required. And of course, the runways have to be long enough to handle the arrival of that big airplane and its departure. And it can carry anything that people want to hire the aircraft for. So for example, it can hold about 50 cars, and it has 32 wheels spread across its oversized landing gear. And you can really see how big it is compared to that car on the picture on the top there.
Case, when was the last time the Antonov was at Toronto Pearson?
Oh, I don't remember the exact date, Catherine, but it wasn't that long ago. It was somewhere last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was I think in the late spring, because it was bringing, PPE, like for the masks and stuff, right, into the city?
Exactly.
Cool. Wow. See, I mean, so explorers, see, you can't stump Yace. He knows everything. He's our resident expert here. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Ruba. Thanks, Yace. I just wanted to point out a couple of other things on this little slide that we have here. Look at the cool pictures that we got from some of our airport explorers. These are some examples of the tin telephones that our explorers created. So thank you for sharing that, explorers. Those of you who sent them in, we will be sending you some swag, and your name will be automatically put into, if you send us your work each week, you could win a chance for the Chromebook. So that was great. So thanks, Hayes. Thanks, Ruba. And now we're going to move over to my favorite part of the camp, which is activity time. And Kathy, what are we doing today?
Oh, it's my favorite time too, Catherine. Explorers, today we are going to use our imaginations and pretend that we are leaving Canada to immigrate to another country. Explorers, obviously we won't have time to complete the activity now, so this is just going to be a little explanation on what this activity is about and what you'll need to complete this on your own time. And as Catherine mentioned, you can watch this part of the camp tomorrow if you need to refresh your memory. And you can download this activity under the Discover and Learn section of our Pearson Airport Explorers website. So Airport Explorers, are you ready to go? Let's go, everyone.
I'm going.
Okay, let's put our best foot forward. So, Airport Explorers, for this part of the activity, we are going to imagine that we are leaving Canada to another country to start a new life. And then we are going to share what we know about Canada with our new friends in our new country. Think about what we're going to create a list and think about what pieces of Canadian culture would you share with people in your new country? What foods are typically Canadian? What sports are typically Canadian? What animals do we have in Canada that are very unique to Canada? And what would you want to tell your new friends about Canada? Think about Canadian art, food, stories, sports, and more.
What are some typical Canadian foods, Kathy?
I know I love maple syrup. How about you, Catherine? And maybe poutine?
Yep. And sorry?
How about bannock?
Bannoc's good. Yep, that's a pretty cool food. That's very Canadian. And I guess our sports would be hockey. Anything else?
Anything? How about lacrosse?
Lacrosse, amazing. Yep. How
about curling, Catherine? I know you play curling. Is that sport?
I do, but you know what? Here's an interesting fact. Curling wasn't invented in Canada. It was brought over by immigrants, Scottish immigrants. It was invented in Scotland. Did you know that?
No, I had no idea. Wow.
See?
Okay. So Airport Explorers, we're going to create this amazing list and you're going to think about all the typical things about Canada and what you would want to bring with you, what you would want to share and what you know. Okay. So now, what would you pack? So now that we know what we want to bring and we want to share with you, new country has a different culture and a language. And as you pack to immigrate to another country, what would you bring with you to help you adjust to your new life? What things would you pack in your suitcase? What could make you feel more comfortable when you get to your new country? And is there anything you can bring that would remind you of Canada?
I would certainly bring a book that would help me learn a new language of the country that I was going to.
Oh, me too. I'm just thinking, what would I bring? I would bring some really great, I would probably pack a nice piece of art because I do love art. I don't know what else.
Yeah, and if I was going to a country that was warm, I would make sure that I would bring light clothing. And if I was going to a country that was really cold, I would bring my winter coat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a great point. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
we should
Airport Explorers, like draw and pack and imagine what you're going to bring with you. And then, you know, the last little part of the activity is draw what you think you would pack. What things do you decide to pack in your suitcase? Draw them on the sheet to the right here and send us your work to trafficcontrol@airportexplorer.club and you could win some really cool prizes that we talked about.
That packing list would also be very kind of interesting if you're traveling to like another country, even if you're going on vacation. That would be good.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you pointed out some really obvious things. If you're coming to Canada, think about the weather. And if you're going to another country, think about the weather there. What would you pack? Like if you're going to a really hot destination, would you bring a big hat with you to block the sun out?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
That's good to think. And we should share that list with our friend Robin, because I know like she likes to travel a lot too.
Oh yeah, she does.
Cool. Okay. Well, explorers, thank you very much for joining us. I hope you had fun. I certainly did. Ruba, Hayes, Kathy, what about you guys?
I had a fantastic time. I'm thinking about what to pack in my suitcase when I get to travel again.
Always lots of fun here, Catherine.
You better, yeah. And explorers, send us your questions. We gotta try and stump Hayes.
For sure.
Well, okay, so that was our camps today, and thanks for joining us as we explored and learned about Canada's history as a home for people from all over the world. And in the meantime, explorers, have fun putting your list together, and we look forward to seeing your pictures and your list come in to our website or our email address at trafficcontrol@airportexplorers.club. So next time we will see you is in March, on March 25th. Make sure you go to the website and sign up so we can save a spot for you. And our presentation is going to be on the history of flying. So we're going to learn all about the history of flight. So thanks again for joining us. This is Catherine signing off. Over and out.
This is Kathy, Airport Explorers. Let's have some fun. Over and out.
Roger that for more fun, Kathy. This is Case. Over and out.
Well, I'm all for the fun, guys. See you all next month, Explorers. Over and out from Ruba.